Greetings, everybody. This is the Chair Guys podcast. You guys know the deal. R.S. Vaughn, co-host.
Spiked, that's
co-host.
me.
Anthony,
And
co-host.
we got a special guest for the first time in a few weeks. Returning guest. Pure filler. Just introduce yourself, bro.
What's up?
Introduce yourself.
I'm these guys' friend, I guess, and I've been around the scene before. I've been reviewing. I've been listening to music. I've been rating. So now we're here.
You could say Alex has been around the block, which would luckily segue us into the next album we're going to talk about and why we brought Alex on, truthfully and honestly. Because, we still want to make sure we bring on new guests for you guys, new special guests, because everyone is special. But I feel like if we bring on the same guests all the time, they're going to get less and less special. But we had to bring Alex on for this episode. We just had to. Because this...
Badass 2000.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. He just spoiled it for us. But yes, we're
Oh,
talking about...
look, my bad.
Joey
Badass,
bro.
Oh, shit.
2000. We're talking about Joey Badass 2000.
Ladies and gentlemen.
And you know what? I'm gonna open it up because I feel like it. Okay?
Yeah, open up.
Let's just talk about it. Let's just get it out the way. First of all, Vaughn's the geek. I'm the cool one here for this episode. All right?
I have the stats to back it up, though. That's the difference.
You have the stats to back... Exactly. So, anyways. Joey Badass 2000, right? Ladies and gentlemen. Look. It's been 5 years since we've heard from Joey Badass. At least considering album-wise, right? We're not talking about the light pack. Because I don't even want to bring that up. Okay? We're not bringing that up. To help build my case. It's been 5 years since we've heard from Joey Badass, right? And he left us with a pretty, I think all three of us could agree here, a pretty almost amazing project, I'd say. All-American Badass. Really, really solid project. Honestly, it was something I was turning on during quarantine. And just kind of letting it, I remember I'd wake up, get onto online school, mute myself, and then turn on Joey Badass, All-American Badass, right? And it's been 5 years, right? It's been quiet. We've had Joey Badass blind himself from a solar eclipse that happened during his hiatus. We've had Joey Badass take a stance against vaccines. We've had Joey Badass say some interesting things about trans people. But that's okay, right? Because now he's dropped some music. And now, what does he have to say, right? And that's what we have with 2000. What is his response in this 5-year hiatus? And I guess his response is, even though he hasn't been around in 5 years, he's one of the best to ever do it. Because a lot of these tracks are about him being the best ever. Best ever to ever do it, but hasn't been around in 5 years. Okay. That's fine, I suppose. But the thing is, with this project... It's not, a big part of me wants to say I don't like it and I don't think it's good. But almost unfortunately, really, it is a good project, I think. I've come to the realization that I think it is a scathingly good project, right? To a somewhat kind of okay project. Because the thing I really like about this project is that production. That production is still pretty good at times, right? There's some beats that are just pure, boom bap, hip hop, whatever the fuck, who cares? Yeah. But then there's some beats where Joey Badass was doing what he was doing on All American Badass that's like, ooh mama, something like Make Me Feel, right? That I love it when Joey incorporates, the not even a sample, but I guess it's a sample actually, that's sampling into his singing and such, because we see that a lot on All American Badass. It's a little bit more of an upbeat project per se. Maybe even though the topic and the substance isn't. And so that's what I liked. So those beats are really good. But then we just have beats on here, honestly, like Survivor's Guilt, or even that JID beat, where I'm just being put to sleep.
Survivor's Guilt was one of my favorite beats. Just gonna say
that's okay for me personally. It was just all right. And also, we need to talk about the biggest elephant in the room because I want to get it out the way, and then I'm gonna pass it on. Why are people still giving Chris Brown the time of day? Why are we seeing why is Joey Badass of all people making a love song talking This Pussy Got Mileage? You know how many times I've heard This Pussy Got Mileage by rappers? I've heard that bar a lot. I've heard bars like that.
It should have ended with Cardi and Chief Keef on Mileage.
Exactly. It
Yeah,
should have
I
ended
think so.
there.
Should have ended there.
But we also have him like referencing other like played out as fuck shits. Like, can you save New York City? Shitty. What the fuck? Can you save New York City? Like, we had like Grand Puba saying that shit back in the day, but like, I don't know. I feel like it's just like very played out thing too, right?
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah,
I don't really blame him too much for that. Like, I don't really care much about the mileage
That's-
thing. It's more like
That's fair.
It's
It's just at the end of the day, I don't think Joey improved as a rapper. If anything, he got worse.
oh
These
yeah,
are-
definitely.
These are high school amateur bars. I'm gonna let Vaughn save it because he has some lyrics
please.
saved. But wow, there was just some bars. Like I'm telling you, I didn't count the songs because I don't give a fuck enough about this project because it's Joey Badass is like 2000 whatever the fuck, right? But there's so many songs where the whole song is just about him being the best. I'm the best ever. No one could touch me. If anybody could touch me, they'd need a ladder. Like,
Yeah. And it's
Who
like top
gives-
3,
Yeah,
fucking Cole, Kenny, and
Oh
him,
my
or some shit like that.
yeah, he said like Cole, Kenny, and like, bro. Oh my
And
god,
how many
dude.
people have said that
Yeah.
exact line as well? It's
Uh,
like
Because
like
the truth
Pusha
is,
T,
like-
like leave it to
Yeah,
me, the
yeah.
Coles and Kendricks, and then it's like 2 Chains and like whoever like.
Yeah, the
like,
top 3 is actually. No, I'm not gonna joke around.
Yeah, no, like it's just Joey. I feel like is trying to insert himself back into the forefront, even though he's been gone for 5 years,
Yep.
and that's why I just
Mm.
don't buy this whole like I'm the best ever bullshit because he's been gone, and I get it. Like it's one thing that he's saying all these things that some people may not agree upon, but he's just been acting like a cornball lately, and it hurts because I really love Joey Badass. I think some of these albums that he like All American Badass and what's the album with Paper Trails and
Before
Christ
the Money.
Conscious
Before
For
the
the
money,
Money.
that's the best one. That's the best one.
For the Money. Yeah, you see, Alex really loves that one.
That's the best
But this project is just like it's so bland and cut and dry and like I said, but at the end of the day, like for a bland and cut and dry album, I still want to say it's like kind of good, but it's just okay at times. Like I feel like the songs that I really enjoy, I actually do kind of enjoy and would want to go back to. For instance, track 4, Brand New 911. Even
Brand
though
New
that's literally
911
just a
off the
Griselda
block.
song. Like that's just like a Griselda beat. West Side Gun's all over it, doing his West Side Gun thing, and Joey is the feature artist, if anything. But that song I really enjoy.
I don't know if that's the Griselda track. We have Chuck Strangers on the production. That's a Pro Era OG. We have to.
That's
just
fair.
giving the flowers. Chuck
fair.
Strangers has really been entering that kind of like more like slum style recently. That
And that-
underground, dirtier
yeah.
shit. And that's like
and that's
probably
good.
the grimiest beat on the whole album. Like
It is,
amazingly-
and I
amazingly.
think that's the thing. I think that the sound is shifting, in New York. And I'm not saying I'm here on the streets of New York reporting, but if we look at the albums that have been coming out of New York and have been like, oh damn, these are like really good rap albums. It's all been shit from the underground and Griselda with these grimy, dirty beats, and then we have Joey Badass coming in and he didn't get the memo or some shit.
Okay.
Like he's making this.
Give me the mic.
Mhm.
Give me the mic, man.
I'm passing the
Give me
mic.
the
I'm
mic,
sorry.
man.
I talk a lot, but
I need
I
the
just-
mic. I need the
I'm very
mic.
conflicted. I'm very conflicted.
Okay.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Joey Badass 2000. What more can I say?
There's 2,000 things wrong with this project.
Okay,
maybe, but...
come on. You literally like the album, so don't even give me. I don't want to hear it. Okay.
At the end of the day, I'm probably gonna give it an okay rating. But yeah.
It's gonna get my okay rating, but okay.
It's just an okay.
I started this album out, and I was like, okay. I'm
Okay.
feeling this song, The Baddest featuring Diddy. I didn't know Diddy could play the piano, bro. It's
Oh.
pretty cool.
It
yeah,
is.
that's actually
The
cool.
beat
yeah.
is really cool. I really like how the drums come in. And then Make Me Feel is one of the best beats on the album. Wow.
The way it slides in there. The
Wow.
way it slides in
The
there, right?
transition-
Like,
I'm like,
That's
wow.
that's a good.
And at this
yeah.
point, I'm barely paying attention to Joey because it's just like very cool production, and he's flowing. Like he can flow. Like he's a good flower. He's a good solid rapper. Like he just sounds good. And then Where I Belong. Okay, this beat's a little like stereotypical. Like boom bap Joey Badass type beat.
Dun.
Okay,
Yep.
It's fine. Brand New 911. I mean, it's the grimiest beat on the album, but it's still too clean. Let's be real. It's still too clean. It sounds like
That's-
Really?
that's
sounds
fair.
like
That's
not as much dirt and grime as there should be on a Griselda beat.
But I
It
think
could
it's
go
like
harder,
kind
yeah.
of dusty
could
in
go
like
harder.
a luxurious type of way, not really
I don't
like
know,
a,
I
you
don't
That's
know.
fair.
It's not
That's
a bad
fair,
beat.
but
It's a good beat,
Yeah.
actually. It's a good beat.
Yeah.
It's just
it's a
like,
good beat.
okay, this is all right? And then Cruise Control is actually pretty good, I think. The hook is kind of funny.
It's
hook
kind of
is
like a
kinda
Drake
funny.
song. It's kind of like a Drake song.
it's like Joey Bada's warped view on what Drake sounds like. But
There's like a little
Cruise
bit of
Control
Drake.
is
Yeah.
like, okay, like this is not bad. I really like how the beat builds and adds more like kicks and percussion as it goes on. And then, from there, it's just like, okay, there's some good beats. Okay, there's a Jid feature and a Larry June feature, who I'm not really familiar with, but I think they both kill
Jerry,
it. And
Jackie did good.
and
He did alright.
there's some cool stuff, but at the
Both
end of the
hands
day,
still
I'm
lost
like,
it.
okay, this is all right. Second listen time, because we don't play around here on the podcast,
We don't play
like
around.
to
I've
give
listened to this
things
album.
a second
4
chance at
times.
least, and it's time for my second listen, and this time I'm gonna pay attention to Joey Badass's lyrics, because that's an important element of hip hop and rap, is the lyrics, and he is one of the most praised lyricists of the past decade, right? Like
Yeah.
he is like a lyrical type of guy.
He was
throwing it back-
conscious. He was
He's
conscious.
throwing it back to the era where lyrics mattered.
None of this mumble rap
And
BS.
I just gotta say, man, he really brought it home. Like he really is just spitting like real shit and just like really good lyrics, man. Like swimming mainstream like a hungry hip hop potamus. You ain't a great white guy. You just a great white lie with great ties to what seems to be a great white guy. I got statewide eyes. It's like, and all those lyrics and more you can find on this album, and it's just trash. It's just this album
I'm
fucking
up like
sucks.
a teenager's dick.
Stay hard like a teenager's dick.
Oh yeah, that's what
That's
it
a
is. That's
real
what.
line. That's a real line.
Nah,
I didn't even
dude.
catch that.
Okay,
catch that.
it's not exactly that. No, say my stock like a teenage cock, it stays up. That's actually worse. That's actually even worse than I thought. And when I listened to this album the second time, it was actually like atrociously boring. Like his lyrics are so fucking bad and so repetitive, and there's just nothing creative about the way he says things. Like he'll have a simple ass line with like an interesting thought or idea, but it's like the simplest possible way to say it. And it's like, why? Why are you making me listen to this, bro? Like like there's nothing special about what you're doing. And I went back because I was like, there's no way that he's always been this bad. And he hasn't. He used to be great. 1999 is a fun-ass project. And also, he was 17 on that project. And he had better bars than anything on this album. Like the worst lines on that album are like eclipse the best lines on this album. Pun intended, because Joey Badass looked into a solar eclipse and went blind because he's a fucking dumbass. And
What happened?
Okay,
to him?
chill out,
Dude,
Separate
what
the art from the artist. Separate the art.
Okay, but this dude's fucking sucks, dude. Like his lyrics just suck, dude. And I think the moment where I really realized like it sucked, because like the album is so boring, and that's not even to mention the Chris Brown track, which is just fucking just everything about. Like the productions are okay, like most of the songs, but like
It sounds so bland. It's generic as fuck.
yeah, the song
Like-
sucks. And then there's Survivor's Guild, which is like, I have to give it some credit. He's still simple with his lyrics, but he's at least talking about something that's interesting and something he cares about. And
Yeah.
I really like the beat on that as well. And it is a kind of an emotional song at points. Not to the point where I'm like crying, but like it's like I feel the song. But then it's like he tries to undermine the whole thing when he makes a pause joke in the middle of this verse. Like why did like just shit like that?
Yeah, go
Like,
like,
why do you do
harder,
that?
You know,
harder
you-
and
Why
deeper
would you
than
do
can.
that? You're talking about your
Pause.
dead friend that you fucking loved and he committed suicide, and you make a pause joke.
You know what it reminds me of? You know what?
He's been
You know
wanting to like.
his
And if
lyricism.
it's not a
It's sauce
joke,
or whatever.
that's even worse, because he's just fucking making a pause joke, dude.
He's saying pause like.
He says
It re-
pause.
it re-
On the most emotional and vulnerable moment on the album, he makes a fucking gay joke. Like,
yeah.
Oh, and even the beats on second listen, like some of them, like Static Selecta is very mixed bag because he has the best beats on the album, and then he crosses the line. The line is very thin between a really good boom bap beat and this sounds like YouTube type beat of Joey Badass boom bap throwback. Like
Yeah.
some of the
Like,
beats
I'm
are
not gonna
really
lie,
bland.
though.
Some of the
I
beats
think
are really
like
bland, but
that goes down to Joey's beat selection and not actually Static himself. Because
I
you can see
agree.
on
I
Static's
agree.
own projects, like he has
I'm
hella
not
good beats that he chooses on his own
no
shit.
diss to Static
So
Selecta at all because even those beats like you can see his talent and technical
like he's
prowess.
good, dude. He's
But
good.
yeah, he's a good producer. But like Joey just fucking diarrheas all over this whole album with this
He
horrible,
shit the bed. He
horribly
shit the
simple, horribly fucking beyond surface level bars. Like literally, this album is okay until you scrape past the surface and look for any type of substance, and then it just becomes
Yeah,
fucking
yeah,
horrible.
and I guess so. Yeah.
It just
But
becomes
you know
so
what?
bad.
You know what it
It's-
reminds me of? It reminds me of like kids doing like a high school rap battle, and like Joey's coming with his best high school rap battle.
No, because
bars.
that's the exact energy of 1999, and that album works on every front. This sounds like
I never said the high school rap battle was good. I just
No,
said
no.
it's high school rap
you're
battle.
onto something
Yeah,
because
high
it's
school rap battle
2000.
was
It's
fire.
supposed to be throwing
Yeah.
back to 1999. He's trying to relive the glory days so bad, but he's just ass now. Like he's just
Yeah.
falling off. It's like he's either not trying, or he's just really falling off like super
Yeah.
hard.
Like here's the thing, this is what happens when you're gone for an extended period of time. Like Family Guy after the first 3 seasons, they were good, but they got caught off by Fox. They had a whole year like of hiatus, and they didn't know what the fuck to do when they came back for season 4. That's literally Joey Badass. He was gone for like 5 fucking
Okay,
years.
well,
He
I'm
has
gonna have
nowhere to go
disagree
to now.
because
Because he became such a big fan of his own work
I'm gonna
that
have
he's
to,
trying to recreate that same type of like appeal that it had, but he's a completely different person.
yeah.
Yeah.
And he's literally just being his own fucking fan, like, and it's just not really interesting anymore.
Yeah.
There's
I
no
agree.
charm to it because it's not authentic.
But
Because
I did
let's
want to say though, Family Guy season 4 and 5 are like really good. Like
Okay, I like the Family Guy
let's-
seasons after,
come
but
on.
obviously
Like, come on.
the
let's
first
bring it
two
back
are
to
better.
music, right? Let's talk about another artist that left for 5 years, right? And still had something to
yeah,
say.
and this is an obvious.
Ken-
I didn't even make this connection listening to the album,
Kendrick
but like,
Lamar.
it's
Kendrick
so
Lamar
obvious
was-
looking back.
Yeah.
It's like how
Kendrick
like
Lamar
Kendrick
was
got
gone
it.
for 5 years, and he
He's-
got it, right? He still had something to say, right? Because think about it. At the end of the day, Joey Badass, what I liked about him most, especially on All American Badass, was he had something to say. His mind was on the ball of social issues. He talked about social issues, right? I'm not saying Kendrick did it on Mr. Morale, but he came back and he gave us something to chew on, something to think about where he's been for 5 years. But on this project, we're just hearing "I'm the best ever." Okay, cool, but where the fuck have you been? What have you been doing in those 5 years,
It's
right?
like, bro, prove it.
Guess fucking off. Exactly. Well proven.
But yeah, that's
And
also
Nas-
the
like
thing about
Nas
something-
telling
Kendrick,
me
he's not even saying he's the best. Like it's not a. It's
exactly.
like he's
That's when a
saying the
rapper
opposite.
is the best.
he's
exactly.
saying stop holding me up as a god. And his whole theme of the album is directly contradictory to what Joey Badass is doing, which is just trying to relive the glory days and just trying to
Exactly.
get nostalgia and like it just sucks, bro.
How many
He likes-
rappers did fucking Joey quote and bring onto the project that were saying they were the best ever?
I just wanted to mention this one moment I almost forgot. On the end of Cruise Control, when he gets the Nas audio, it
Yeah.
literally sounds like Joey went up to Nas at a party and was like, "Hey Nas, can you do me a favor, bro? Can you just say like I'm like a great rapper real quick, and can you just like hype me up for a second?" And then he recorded it because you can you hear all like the talking in the background and shit, and that is just a perfect summation of everything wrong with this album to me. He has the personnel to help him out, but he is just completely failing on all fronts. Like, it's just like.
And it hurts to say that.
sucks,
It hurts
dude.
to say
it
that.
It does hurt,
because
yeah, because he used to be great.
I love Joey Badass. Like,
He used to be
but
great.
this project,
I love Joey Badass. Yeah.
yeah, no, it's just
I
I
strongly
wanna
follow
give this project kind of a like I don't know, maybe it's just me being a pussy and not wanting to say it's a bad project, because I do end up liking some of the beats on here, But you're right.
I
Lyrically,
like
it is
most of the production.
lyrically is it is a
Oh, it's
disaster
cool.
class. So that's
I
why I
would
want to
say
say it's just
disaster
okay.
class.
I would say disaster class.
I don't know. I would say that Joey has always been tight with the rhyme schemes. Like, I don't think any of his rhyming or any
We're
of
not
that
talking
shit has
about the
gone
rhyme
down the drain.
schemes here. We're not
Here.
talking
But
about
that's
the
like a
flows.
part of the lyrics, is it
No,
not?
no, no.
Though?
The rhymes are fine.
It's definitely a part of the
Yeah.
lyric.
The rhymes
yeah.
the rhymes are good. The flow is great. He never lost any of that.
Yeah, the flow and the like.
I mean, it's not
that
like it's not
adds
like
a lot
the
to
most
listenability
insane
too, right?
rhyme schemes ever though. Like listen
Yeah.
to
Yeah, of course not. But
Yeah, like,
they're
like
definitely like above average. I would say. Like
I don't
a
even
lot of
know
the time,
about
you're just
that,
like
man.
tripping up words together, and it's like pretty tight. It's
Yeah,
cool.
and they're also just songs that I don't want to really return to because there's like the hooks and choruses are boring. Like
Yeah.
look at All American Badass, Devastated.
Dude,
that shit
He
comes
killed
on
the
into my
hooks on
brain.
that
Like I
album,
remember.
and they all stuck on
Exactly.
this one for the most part.
Yeah.
There are a couple exceptions, but like the JID song, like JID has one of my favorite moments on the album with his verse, but
Yeah.
the beat and hook are like some of the worst on the album. Like it
Yeah.
just doesn't.
Exactly.
That's alright.
I just don't.
You're
Yeah.
gonna.
Yeah,
I
but
feel like,
Alex,
yeah, we haven't really gotten to.
you need
I'm
to
sorry, I'm
talk,
sorry.
right? You need to talk because me and Vaughn are being
We're shitting.
fucking
we're
Mike
shitting right now. We're
Hogs.
shitting.
Fucking hogs.
Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
Anyhow, I think this album. I don't know. I'm pretty mixed on it too. Like, I'm gonna be honest. Like, at first, when I first listened to it, like even before it came out, the reason why I'm on this show right now is because I kept telling these guys, Joey Badass 2000 is dropping.
2000 is
soon.
dropping.
Joey
We gotta
Badass
talk about it.
2000 is dropping.
Joey
soon.
Badass 2000.
Holy
is
shit, Joey
dropping.
Badass 2000. That's what I keep saying to these guys. Because I love Joey Badass. I'm a longtime Pro Era fan. I've been listening
I
to
would
these guys
say
like,
I
all
am
through
too.
high
I would say
school.
I love him too. Yeah.
I'm doing this all the time. I listen to Steez all the time. I listen to fucking Aaron Rose, all that. Kirk Knight. Oh, Kirk Knight on Zip Codes. Super duper good beat, by the way.
This is a good.
Anyhow, we can continue on. I think my main critique with this whole project is that I feel like Joey's creative process has like changed. Because I think I remember, like, I don't know where I heard this exactly, but it was something about how, you know how Jay and Biggie, they don't write down their lyrics? They
Yeah.
get that shit all from the jump. Apparently Joey Badass started doing it. And I think that explains why. Because his whole creative process has basically changed. And now he's doing a lot of telling and not a lot of showing, I think, in his lyrics.
Zero showing.
Like,
Zero
especially in like, yeah, and songs like Survivor's Guilt, where he's supposed to be like showing and like making us feel how he felt a lot. Like, he's doing a lot of telling and recounting, you know? I feel like
he's
recounting
like so repetitive.
and
too
wanting
with
us,
it.
yeah, and what I know about this story can be interesting. And I do appreciate the sentiment of it because I love Capital Steez just as much as anyone does. Rest in peace. But like, I feel like he's just going very surface level. He's just like scratching the surface on every single fucking thing he's saying. And the worst part is that he's saying he's the best, but then he's like, I don't have to prove anything.
Yeah,
you know?
do. Yeah, you do.
Like, you
Exactly,
do. You
exactly.
kind of
You've
do
been
have to
gone
prove
for
something,
5
you know?
years, and on top of that, people didn't even love like All American Badass. Like his core fan
Which
base
is
didn't
which is
even
actually
really
kind
love
of
it.
which is
And-
kind of
and
weird
it's-
actually because I like it a lot. I
It
think
is-
it was.
I mean-
it was best.
Yeah, I think it's a great project.
I
but-
love it. I love
But
it.
like, if anything, he's been gone for 5 years, arguably 7 years, in the capacity that he was here and loved by everyone in the hip hop community. So yeah, you do have to prove something. You have to prove it, bro. You have 3 projects up to this date, and like it's not like GOAT status fucking projects. Like people might argue differently, and I understand that. Like I understand if 1999 is like one of your favorite mixtapes or whatever, but like. He was never like the best rapper in the world. So
Yeah.
for him to not only stay stagnant with his quality but actually decline like heavily, like it's just so ironic and
Yeah,
silly.
I just think he has no self awareness.
he has no self-awareness.
That
Nobody
too,
told
yeah,
him
like,
nobody told him that
he goes on a
he's
tirade
ass,
and
man.
shit about how he should be humble, whatever, this and that. And
Yeah, it's just I just don't understand where he gets off. Like to say all these bars and to bring Diddy and Nas on and be like, this is one of the greatest ever. Like, who the fuck cares, bro?
If there
Like,
is
no one's biting that.
if there is one positive I can say is that the album has a really nice flow to it. and it helped make my first listen really like pretty nice.
It does
right?
go. It does
It
actually
has
go.
nice
go
transitions,
by.
and he has a love
Yeah.
for hip hop that's very much shown in like the skits and transitions and stuff because it
Also,
feels like
the
it feels like a good like throwback album.
Yeah,
Like in
and I
in
just
that
want to notice.
sense.
I forget which song it's on, but the sirens that were used on Donuts.
Yeah.
There's like
Those
one
are,
song.
I
Like,
mean, those
Oh,
are
yeah.
common in a lot of hip hop albums.
I
so
know,
it's
but
kind
I'm
of
just
like a
saying that's
nice,
the
like,
one thing I
Yeah.
was like. I heard. I was like,
yeah.
where did I
I
hear
think
this? You know?
is that not on Brandy 911 too?
I think that's
Or-
where it's on.
Might
I think
be.
that's where it's
Yeah.
on.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like at the end of the day, that's why I kind of want to just give this an okay, and I don't want to like 100% shit on it, because like I just I see where Joey's love for hip hop is, and I get it. One kind of thing about hip hop is this braggadocious nature sometimes about like you gotta hype yourself up. You are your own hype man at times. But
Yeah,
it's not
because the whole
earned on this project. It's not earned, and
It's
not
not
in his
earned.
career has it been earned. No true great rapper is really doing their own victory laps, right? Because the truest greatest rappers of all time are humble people. They're humble people.
Well, for the
When I
most
think of my
part, there are
when
probably
I
some
think of my
exceptions.
favorite, I get it. Of course, there are always exceptions, right? But when I think of my favorite rappers of all time, they were all somewhat humble people. And I guess if we just want to throw it out, like I said, we're already making the comparisons to Kendrick Lamar. Humble ass dude. In fact, like Vaughn said, he's saying the opposite. He's saying the
His
fucking
point is
opposite.
almost the opposite. But
Exactly.
it's like you need to back it up, bro. Like you don't have Nas lyricism, you don't have Jay-Z's lyricism, you don't have Biggie's flow and rhyme scheme. Even though you're good at rhyming, you're good at flowing, but you're not at
Yeah.
that level, dude. Like
Yeah.
you can't just. It just doesn't work, bro.
I just think all the hate he was getting in these past couple of years just made him want to, if anything, be defensive, and that's why he dropped something like this, where he's talking about he's the best ever, and he has to
Maybe.
prove
I don't
nothing
know.
because he doesn't like. I guess he's just not taking the hate well to me, and that's how I kind of see it. But either way, yeah, I really wanted to like this project, but
Yeah,
honestly,
I wanted
the more and
to
more we sit here and we talk about it, the less and less nice things I have to say about it.
Okay,
It's a very small amount. So yeah, I don't know. I wanted to start off and be a little bit more positive because the last episode where I was pretty negative with Ken Carson.
Okay,
Right?
I'm gonna
Okay,
just
but-
say for the record, this is worse than Ken Carson to me.
Wow.
No, it's
So,
not.
yeah.
No, it's
Wow.
not. No, it's
I
not.
don't even know if
bro. I'm just saying,
I don't
bro.
know.
But
my-
at
like,
least like he's not doing the same song again and again and again.
dude,
Joey
yes,
Badass
he
has some
is.
Drake in
Yes,
him.
he is,
He has some
dude.
Drake in him. He has some Chris Brown
Okay.
features
He's got a-
on
he's
there.
got a
He's
love
doing
song-
the
he's got a
same
love song
song until the Chris Brown song, which is even worse than the same song. So
No, Cruise Control was the Drake
Okay,
song.
that's why Cruise Control is good.
That's
And
the Drake
that's
song.
probably the best
That's
song
true.
on the album.
That's true.
And Brandon 911's West Side Gun.
That's true. But look,
Even West Side Gun's verse was like not that great. Like it's not.
It
It's
wasn't-
not like his.
And you can edit Joey's rapping out
I'm
of the
just saying.
baddest, and it can be a Diddy song.
The baddest is cool too, but the lyrics.
Look.
The lyrics.
we don't need to shit on this project anymore. Let's just give our top.
I'm
favorites, right?
sorry. I apologize because my second listen to this album was actually like so bad. Like I was just angry in my chair. Like I needed to release some of it.
Okay, it wasn't that
Yeah.
bad.
No,
it wasn't
I was
that
It's
bad.
really, I
understandable.
was really like, it was upsetting.
No, it's
I
understandable.
feel like one thing I kind of disagree with you guys on is that like I don't really care if he keeps like fucking stroking his own cock and calling himself the best rapper
He just
of all
needs to
time.
back
Like
it up.
I
That's
don't
the
really
only
give a
thing,
shit
yeah,
about that. You can
exactly.
say whatever the hell you want on
Your
your project, but like I just have critiques with the actual
Your
technicality.
lyrical content.
Because his whole like
Can
his
be
whole gimmick
whatever.
is the technicality of his lyrics. Like
Yeah.
I don't care if you have no substance. Like just be creative, you know. Like
Yeah,
I
exactly.
just want more of that color, you know. Because
That's-
we had
that's
on
fair.
1999, we had like lines like fucking. He sold his Nikes for a new mic. I guess it's safe to say he sold his soul for a new life.
That's a cool
What the
line.
fuck?
It's a
That's a
cool
cool
line,
line.
and
That's a
it's
cool
not
line.
even like a perfect one-to-one rhyme. It's just a
Exactly,
cool line.
yeah.
It's just a
And
good-
he's just creative, and he was just
yeah,
able
he was
to like
creative back then.
make you think about something. But now it's kind of like
There's
Da,
nothing
da,
to
da,
think
da,
about
da,
other
da,
than
da.
the surface level
Exactly.
beating the bar and getting it
Yeah.
over with.
like he has an attitude, but he doesn't have the technical skill. at
Yeah,
the
he has
moment.
the swag. Yeah.
Like I feel like if he took some time, he would definitely do a lot better. Because I feel like
If
apparently
what you're saying
2000
is true, and he actually doesn't write down his lyrics anymore, that is like, I feel
Yeah.
like that would just solve everything if he actually like put some fucking thought into it.
Back to the drawing board. yeah.
apparently 2000 is supposed to be the same concept as 1999, but from a different perspective. so it'd be like a boom bap project. But I guess he's from this lofty place, and I guess that kind of shows. But I don't think that's intentional because like, well,
I didn't
that
pick up on
part
certain
where it's a
concepts
different
on here.
perspective is definitely
Yeah.
intentional, but the quality of the lyrics being a result of that isn't intentional at
Yeah,
all.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah, because I wasn't picking up on this was
I
supposed
feel
to
like
be
he's
some
just
kind of
so
concept.
much
Yeah.
more like he feels so much more comfortable, but in a bad way. You know, it's like you're lazy and you're getting like you're letting go of yourself,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
not in a like fucking I live on a throne and shit. It's
Yeah,
like
and also,
I
can
gained
we?
50 pounds and I can't move
Yeah,
around without a
let's
fucking
just bring it
wheelchair.
up. Let's bring it up because I always like to, and then we're gonna give our top threes, right?
All right.
This cover isn't actually that bad. It's kind of
Were
okay.
people shitting on the cover?
I can't. I don't know because I'm like kind of off and on Twitter. I only use Twitter when I'm at home and on my desktop. I don't use it like on my phone, so I wouldn't know. Um, it's just for the most part like it's. I think it's a nice cover. It looks nice. It's kind of reminiscing on 1999, and I guess that's what it is. It's just Joey Badass is trying to reclaim his glory in this 5-year tenure that he's been, or not
I
even
think
tenure, just hiatus really.
yeah.
And so it's just like yeah, I don't know. It's a nice cover.
I
Though.
think
I'll
I
leave it
think
at
it's
that.
pretty. I think it's pretty cute. It's just like him standing in
Yeah.
front of a corner shop.
It's
Like that's a
looking-
very New York
looking.
thing to do, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like I like that he still wears New York on it on his heart, and he still reps New York over everything. Like that's
Mhm.
good because a lot of these rappers that have been blowing up recently, there are like few and few that are like repping that where they come from and stuff like that, and that's like okay. Like I don't know. So yeah, but I don't know. But look, let's just give our top threes now that Vaughn is back. Alex, give me your top
oh
three.
shit.
Your top three. Let's go.
Okay, I think we're going brand new 911.
Brand new 911.
Shit. Zip codes and where I belong. I think
All right,
those are the top three.
good top three.
Three.
I'm gonna go for brand new 911. Make me feel, and where I belong. That's about it. That's about it. Yeah. Vaughn, your top three.
One of Us, The Baddest, and Survivor's Guilt.
Okay, one of us. Okay.
Oh, actually,
Huh?
replace The Baddest with Cruise Control.
Okay.
Yeah, I forgot about it.
There you go.
All right.
Drake.
Wow,
There you go.
Drake.
Look, it's time we move on. Ladies and gentlemen, this album has been requested 7 times.
7.
7 times.
7.
The fans, they wanted it. The one time it got into the poll, it won. So here we are.
Okay.
Black Country New Road. Ants from up there. Ants from up there. Right? I'm not opening it up. Vaughn is.
Ooh.
What's
I'd
up
love
with this
to open
album,
it up.
Vaughn?
I would love
What's
to
up with
open
this
it up.
album? I want to
Alright.
know.
So, Black Country New Road, band I'm somewhat familiar with. I listened to their last album when it came out last year. Was it last year? It was last year.
It was last
I
year.
thought it was okay, you know? I was like,
Mhm.
it's not meeting the hype. It's not bad, but it's not meeting the hype. This album came out, I was like, I really like their last album. Probably won't check it out. And then it was just getting a enormous amount of praise, like insane amounts of praise, like same amount of praise that like the Little Sims album got last year, which is just like massive. You know what I mean?
Yeah, massive.
Especially in the Twitter community, Rate Your Music community. It's top album of the year. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna check this out. I'm curious. And the result was the same. I was like, okay, it's all right. Not bad. I don't mind it, but it's not for me, right? And then it won the Twitter poll, and I was like, okay, time to give it another shot, bro.
Let's go.
And
Round 2.
like, I was listening. I was like, okay, you know what? This is pretty good. Like the instrumentation is like pretty, you know. The instrumentation is very pretty, actually. And I think my main problem on the first listen was the vocalist, and I was kind of starting to warm up to him a little bit. I was like, okay, you know, kind of theater kid-esque, but I'll give it a little pass. And then the third song came on, Concord, And I was like really fucking with it. Like I was like, what? Okay, this is actually very beautiful. I'm not gonna lie. And then by the time Bread's song came on, I was sold. This is a great album. Fuck it. I'm sold, bro. I'm Black Country New Road pilled up in the ass. Okay, this is a great album. I don't give a fuck.
Black Mini
okay?
next.
Once you excuse any of the band kid, chicanery, you know, it's just beautiful. The way they build up to the climaxes in every song, the way it builds and releases is just beautiful. They just hit the nail on the head, and all the different instrumentation and layers and the mix. It's just so much to grab onto, and it's beautiful. And I started to warm up to the lyrics too. And the lyrics, I can understand where you might have some problems with the lyrics, Billie Eilish style. But honestly, I like them, man. They're different. They're creative, They're cool. And I was loving this album. And then track 8, the place where he inserted the blade, it just builds up, and it's just such a it's just a beautiful climax, dude. And it's just like perfect. And I was ready to call this one of the best albums of the year. And then Snow Globes comes on. And I don't know about you guys, but I think my line is in a different place with this type of music, and where it goes from acceptable and actually very good to corny. And Snow Globes crossed the line for me. And the sweet spot of this band is like 5 to 6 minutes. That's their best songs, are 5 to 6 minutes. Snow Globes builds up for 6 minutes, so it's already too long. And the build-up is so boring and so barren, and there's just not as much instruments as before, and it's fucking sucks. And then we reach the climax. Okay, like I'm expecting something grand and big, and then it just kind of like fades in these fucking intense, like annoying drums. And then his voice gets annoying, and it just sounds like a fucking parody of everything that was going on before it. And I understand, to someone like Anthony, he probably just hears every song and is like, okay, this is annoying and bad. But to me, Snow Globes is fucking annoying and bad. And it sounds like the corny parody version of everything that came before it, and it's horrible. It's a horrible song. One of, if not the worst song of the year. Basketball Shoes is like slightly better. It's definitely not bad. It's all right. It's not as bad, I mean. But it's still too long. It's 13 minutes. And my final thoughts on this album pretty much are that there's a great 40-minute album in here, amazing 40-minute album. If it ended on track 8, it would be in my top 3 of the year, for sure. And then it adds another 20 minutes, and they fucking suck. Okay, that's my thoughts. I know you guys are going to tear into it. I don't know about Alex, but probably, I don't know. But that's just my theory, in my head, that Alex probably won't like it either. But I don't know, But like, I'll let you guys tear into it, but I just want to say I actually love a lot of this album. So
I'm going to let
Okay.
Alex take the wheel. Alex,
Okay.
how do you feel, bro? How do you feel?
I think I agree with a lot of the sentiments that Vaughn has. Like, I enjoy the layered, like, sort of instruments. That adds something that's really interesting, but I disagree on the one part where you think that it just drags on for too long. I don't really think music can necessarily drag on for too long, It's like, as my job as an artist, I'm going to be, like, as open as I want. I'm going to go on for as long as I want about whatever idea I think is important. And if that's what they thought about doing, then sure, let it be, Like, I wasn't super entertained by Snow Globes or Basketball Shoes in comparison to the other songs, but I just thought they were alright. Like, it's a very patient album. That kind of just fits in with all of it, I don't mind a 6-minute build-up. I don't mind a 20-minute build-up. It's just that, like, I feel like it did an alright job. I want to tell you. I feel like a lot of the instrumentation just look very jazzy, also kind of like peaceful coffee house rock like. Like it reminds me a lot of the Penguin Cafe Orchestra, if you guys know who those guys are. It's just this like old ass band by white people, but it's really good. And I just love the saxophonist. Like even on their last album, when I heard it, I love the saxophone still. Like I wasn't super big into the whole like, oh yeah, we're gonna be like Flint to sort of like shtick they had going on. But like, I don't know. I enjoyed it this time around, and it was really fun. And I feel like there's one track that I really loved a lot. Haldern. The intro to that song is just like, what?
That's my favorite
It's just
song.
so. The textures are really
The
good. on
piano
song,
that
by
comes
the way.
in on the
It's just,
it builds up. It kind of does this like dance where it goes quiet and then it explodes and then it goes quiet and explodes even bigger and then the final
Yeah.
explosion with the piano layers and just like everything is just beautiful. That's just fucking insane. And
Yeah. And I'm not gonna lie, I haven't taken much participation in internet discourse recently. But what I've been seeing was that, well, not what I've been seeing, but I haven't really seen the hate for the lyrics or like the Billie Eilish lyrics or whatever. I think they're pretty fine. I think they're pretty
Well,
good.
That's
'cause
that
this album-
kind of roots from me more than anyone because that was
Nah,
the
it was
part that I-
talked. It
that was
was
the
it was
part
a
I
joke.
grasped onto the least. Like
Okay.
Yeah.
for my
It was also kind of
most
a
my
joke
experience
for
with
the
this
most
album.
part.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think their songs are really good. Like just
But it grew on
storytelling
me.
in
It grew on
general.
me. I
Like-
really like the lyrics.
Red song is hella fucking
They're
good.
just there's just a lot of cool like imagery and
And
stuff.
Goodwill Hunting? Oh my goodness, the lyrics
Good
on
Will
that.
Hunting is my second
Ooh.
favorite song. I don't
wow.
give a fuck. Okay.
It's one of the
I'm
top three,
blowing
but
my
we
top
can.
three. I don't give a fuck, man.
Oh
I
wow.
don't give a fuck.
So yeah, I feel it's just a very comfortable, but also kind of like lonely and sad album. You know, like some of these songs I can imagine having like a fucking breakdown too. It's just like some of these sound very devastated. It's just like very.
I don't really. I mean, I can.
Like
It's
some of
very
them do.
emotional, but I wouldn't necessarily call it sad on most parts. So.
Really, I think it's just very
Yeah, I
heartfelt.
think it's,
just like make you sad. You know, the way it
I mean,
presents.
I feel like he's going to deep and personal places, but I wouldn't call it like I think the conclusion that they come to on the end of most songs is not like a sad one. It's more of like just a reflective one and kind of more open to interpretation.
Oh, well, I guess I'm the type of guy who likes to cry to a fuck.
Yeah, maybe that's
Yeah,
not what I
it's just
meant.
me.
That's
That might
not what
just
I
be
meant,
me.
But I don't know.
That might just be me.
Anthony
Is it
looks
my
like
turn?
he's fuming. He's absolutely fuming.
Yeah,
At
he's about to
I-
punch in the
ears.
camera. Podcast.
I want to talk. Ladies and gentlemen,
Yo, shit.
this album, it's not bad.
Oh my.
It's not a bad album.
You're a troll, bro.
It's not a bad album.
This happens every single time you listen to an
But-
album you dislike more than once. I'm just saying.
Shut the fuck up. Shut your silly little mouth. Shut your silly
What
little
other
mouth.
albums have this happened with? It's happened with like Luna.
Like
It's
every
happened
album
with-
we've talked
okay.
about on the podcast.
No, shut up. Let me talk. Shut up.
AC fucking DC, bro.
Look, this album isn't bad, but it is boring.
Fuck off! It's the same thing! Shut up, bro!
No,
They're
I'm-
kind of different, but like,
I'm fucking
no way
around.
you fucking pulled that on us.
I'm fucking
That's
around.
so-
I'm fucking
You're
around.
a troll, bro.
Once again
Oh,
with Joey
dude.
Badass, it's just an okay project. Look, here's the thing. Alex has a great point. The dude who does saxophone on this project, hold on, what's his silly ass British name? Lewis Evans. Lewis
Come on.
Evans.
Come
That's
on,
not
man.
even super British. He's
He's not even British. It's not.
he's on the chill end of the spectrum.
He's good. I like him. The vocalist, fuck is his name?
Isaac Wood.
Isaac Wood. Isaac Wood.
It's like wood.
You are a skilled singer. He is a skilled singer. I don't know. I was talking to him like he's gonna be fucking watching this. He is a skilled singer.
Oh, band.
Yeah, he left the band too.
Oh, okay. Oh, well,
He's
there you
not.
go.
He's not gonna be name searching
He's
anymore.
like-
He's done. He's over with it.
Yeah, there you go. He is a good singer, but I don't really like his voice on a majority of these tracks.
I understand.
Funnily enough, the song that I really like is the place where he inserted the blade. I actually thought that was a really good
song.
track.
song.
Yep.
And I love the way, fucking everything just kind of builds up, right?
Yeah.
But then yeah, Vaughn has a great point. There are 20 minutes of here of just fucking noodling and small little guitar playing to just build up to this like crescendo. I don't give a fuck.
Yep.
I don't care. I don't like it. You just wasted my time. Get to the point. And just also in general, this is some white people shit. This is white.
When did it become the fucking
It
Danny
is, it
Brown
is.
podcast?
It is. But I'm
I-
white. Here.
Exactly.
I looked at myself. I was listening to this.
Look
You
yourself
know,
in the mirror while you're
I
listening to
looked
this.
at myself as I was listening to this. I was like, I'm an adult. I'm 18 years old,
Wait, Vaughn, you're white.
and I'm white.
You can
And
say the
it's
C
time
word.
to
You can say the
embrace.
C word.
It's time to embrace my identity. Okay.
It's time to brace your.
This is a white people album. It's also an album for adults. No more of that Cardi, Dre, and bullshit Slay World. This is what adults listen to, and I'm gonna embrace it.
Look,
Yeah.
for the most part, with me, right? I'm very weird almost with albums like this, with like post rock shit, art rock. It's almost like I'm playing a game of darts and there's albums on each little tile, and I just so happen to land on one that I managed
You
to
just
like.
don't understand it yet. You haven't. You know.
For example, In the Aeroplane Over the Sea is an album I love, right? I'm
Yeah.
not trying to draw connections here. I'm just trying to say that I'm very random about my taste when it comes to albums like these in
With
this realm.
guitar.
The guitar. This album, for the first couple of tracks, while I can admire it because it is cool and I think, wow, they're doing something here, it doesn't interest me and I don't gravitate towards it and I don't want to return to it. But I'm not saying it's a bad project. I don't care enough about it. It doesn't interest me.
Surprisingly, very sophisticated stance on this album. Good job.
Thank
AC.
you. Look, I know the person who suggested this album wanted us to review it because, I mean, maybe they like what we talk about. Maybe they like this podcast, or maybe they just wanted to see their favorite album get talked about. And so at the end of the day,
Wait, who was
even
it?
if
We
I
never
if
said
I
the name.
even if I want to say the vocalist is annoying as fuck at times, I'm not going to, because at the end of the day, I do kind of recognize he has good vocals. There are times where he can be a good vocalist, even though it doesn't matter anymore. He's leaving the band. But then there are other times where I go and I look at what the band looks like, and I'm like, this isn't for me. I get it. I look a little white. I can pass as white. I'm not going to be worrying about.
Shout out, Aces the Gambler. I don't think you
Aces the Gambler.
said
I'm
that
sorry, we forgot to actually shout
Yeah.
you out. That's
Shout
right.
out Aces
It's
the
just, you're
Gambler.
notorious. You're notorious in the
real.
Chair Guys replies.
Been in every single reply.
Been in
stuff,
almost every
like,
single one of the ones
for a
we've been
while.
doing. Yeah. For a
Shout
while.
out
Yeah.
to the fans.
Ever
Yeah.
since the album came out, you were suggesting it. And that's why I saved my Black Country New Virginity for this album. I didn't listen to it up until this point. So you're welcome. Just for you, Aces the Gambler. I don't even know your real name. I just know your name is Aces. But anyways, that'd be a cool name to have, Ace. But anyways, I'm sorry, it's just not for me. Maybe I'll come back to it at a later time when I'm growing old and I have hundreds of records in my collection and I'm like, I'm blowing off dust and I have this one record and I'm like, oh, this reminds me of that one Black Country New Road album I listened to back in my wee young days. And then I'll be like, let's give it a re-listen, and then I'll have a euphoric moment.
Yeah.
But for the time I'm in now, the stuff I'm interested in now, the artists I listen to now, it doesn't match one, and two, I'm just not that interested in it. But that isn't to say I'm not going to discredit this album and I'm not going to shit all over it just because I don't gravitate towards it. And that's it. That's all I really have to say about it. But I'm going to be honest, there's only really one song I like on here. So
Which one is that again?
Why?
The
place where he inserted the
place
blade.
inserted in the map.
Probably it's the highest rated track on Rate Your Music.
It's a fan favorite.
It's the fan
Fair
favorite.
enough.
And I
for
see
good
why.
reason.
I see why. It really, when I was listening to it, it really was getting on my little heartstrings. You know what I'm saying? I was
Yeah.
like, ooh. I was like, I didn't know.
Okay.
I didn't know my heart had room for this kind of song. You know what I'm saying? For this kind of music. So, yeah, it's not a bad album, but I'm not all the way with Vaughn on this, saying it's a really good album for a couple of tracks and then a really kind of stinky one for the last two.
Yeah.
It's just more so an okay album.
I
thoughts on
get you, bro. I get you.
I'm glad. You see, I wasn't gonna shit on everything today. I'm feeling in a good mood. I'm having a new dawn.
So you're gonna shit on the last album?
New dawn fades. Anyways,
That reference is a bit too niche for.
It's okay.
That's a little niche. That's a little niche.
a little-
if you know, you know.
Okay.
If you know, you know. But look, let's talk about our top three. Actually, I always gotta bring it up, right? The cover, I'm not gonna lie.
I love the cover.
It's,
I love the cover.
I
it's
think the cover is
okay.
cool.
It's
It's really
okay.
cool.
Compared
really
to their
cool.
last cover, I like their last cover a lot more.
No, this cover's
The
better.
last cover sucks.
No, I think it's cool. They're like, they're going up the hill. You know, they're
Yeah, that's some real white people shit.
Come
Going
on,
up a
man.
hill. Fuck that.
yeah.
No,
it's
but I
just
actually love the cover because although I'm not sure on the actual lyrical themes of the album, I haven't really dived that deep into it. I just really like the imagery of some of the lyrics, but I think the cover is really cool. Like the airplane is in a bag, so it's almost
Yeah,
like
it's like hanging up
it's
somehow.
like-
It's like
you're traveling, you're out in the world, you're trying to traverse the world, but you're actually in a bag and you don't even know it.
just some white
You
people
know what I
thoughts.
mean?
I don't know. I feel
Some
like
white people thoughts.
I don't know, I feel like the whole plane
you're,
thing
you're
just, like, puts-
sheltered, but you don't know it.
I don't
White
know, I feel like
thoughts,
the whole
white
the whole
thoughts.
plane thing like puts everything into like perspective, puts everything in scale. It's called ants from up there, and then after it's like a plane, something that should be giant, but then it's actually just really small. It's in a bag.
I didn't
That
even
is
think of that.
fun.
That makes even more sense.
That's just a
It's
fun
called
way to
Ants
flip
from
it.
Up
It just
There.
like puts in perspective
Wow.
with that.
Yeah, it's a great cover.
That's
dude.
cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
And also, it just matches the album. It just feels
Yeah,
very
yeah,
home-like.
it matches the vibe.
Like it's very like you know, it's
Like
like
the
some
colors.
It does
Before
feel
shit
it does
that
feel very
girls will listen to.
British. It does feel very British.
I'm just going on the record, man. I love British people. All love to
I'm
my
going on
British
the record.
people.
I'm going on the record. I want to give a big shout out to British people who make electronic music. I love you.
Electronic music.
Electronic music.
And that
This
is
isn't
actually a good
electronic.
segue. If
Segue.
we had set our top threes yet.
Whoa, 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 whoa!
Oh,
You were gonna get it wrong anyways. So let's just get back to it and let's get our top
Really?
threes in. First
Okay,
of all, the artists.
Irish is like British light.
You just offended
It's the same
offended
thing.
an
It's the
entire.
same thing. I don't give a fuck.
Wow.
I don't give a fuck.
No, that's this guy hasn't read his history books. Revolution of 1914, 1919.
They all speak British. I don't care.
You're fucked up. You're going to hell. You have just upset the entirety of Ireland by calling it British Light. They fought for their independence from Britain. It's like saying America's British Light.
I think that's like cancel material.
No,
Like, we can get rid of
Canada
Fawn
is
right
America light. But America's not light anymore.
More like America Plus, bro. That shit has like quality of life updates,
Nope,
like free
nope,
healthcare and
nope,
shit.
Nope.
And not getting
I'm not
is
having
whack.
this conversation. So let's get to our top
Can we
three.
have
Shout
like
out
a
the troops.
politics, like
Shout
little?
out the troops.
Shout out the troops. The troops. All right.
That's a controversial statement. But
Shout out the
Alex.
troops.
Let's not linger much longer.
Shout out the troops as long as they're doing good.
The subjective
Shout out-
meaning of good.
Shout out everyone in life that's doing good. Doing good things
Okay.
and spreading love in the world.
Shouts out half decent people.
Exactly.
Shout out
Shouts
to all
out.
the half decent people.
Shouts out to the fucking bare minimum. Let's get this shit.
Facts.
Yeah.
That's facts.
Alex, bro.
Sometimes
I want to
the
hear
bare
your top
minimum is
threes.
hard, bro.
My top
I'm
tracks.
just saying.
I think intro, snow globes, and basketball. No, I was kidding. I think Goodwill Hunting, Haldern, and I don't know actually between Concord and Bread Song. I think Bread Song. Bread Song.
It's a great top three, man. I gotta say,
Oh, that was a joyous top three.
it was a joyous top three for sure. I gotta say, it is pretty hard. I mean, I love the first 8 tracks, man. They're all fantastic. Snow globes and basketball shoes are ass. Okay, they're ass.
Okay, I thought you didn't
So-
hate basketball shoes that much.
No, it's that one's not bad. Okay, I'm sorry. I just want to piss off the fans real quick. Even though I like it more than both of you.
Okay.
Okay. Bitch. Okay.
Okay, my top 3 is Haldern, Goodwill Hunting, and the place where he inserted the blade. There you go.
I'm taking the place where he inserted the blade. Sorry, I had to get it in. I thought about it while I was about to say it. I was like, oh, I need to get this one in. Yeah.
That's your top.
Yeah, that's literally it. I don't have
The
any.
top
I don't want
one.
to shout out. I don't feel like
Alright.
shouting out any other tracks.
Alright, man.
Let's move on to our next classic album, picked none other.
Picked
By
by none
Alex.
other than Alex.
Yeah,
After,
sorry, I was having a
like-
little bit of a word vomit.
After like 3 or
Yo,
4
bruh.
tries, just
Yo,
like
bruh.
going around. This is the one
Yeah.
they wanted to do out of all the ones they wanted to do.
Well, you see, the thing is, Alex doesn't really know what a classic is, so we had to remind him a little bit.
all the albums I said were classics.
Wait,
like,
okay.
Nonstop 2MG
This
is a classic.
this was a communication between you and Anthony. What were some of the ones you wanted to talk about?
One of them was
Nonstop
2MG.
2MG.
That's not even close. No.
Steve Hyatt, By the Road, Down by the Beach, or some
that
shit.
has an argument
Yeah,
for classic.
for
sure.
And I said
I've never heard of
Faust. I said Faust. They're self-titled.
Faust
Faust.
is a
But then
classic.
Anthony's like, yeah, maybe that could work out. But then I was like, hey,
I
maybe
said
Aphex
we
Twin.
could do that. If you wanted to.
maybe Aphex Twin. And then after they're like, we're about to do
Exactly.
Aphex Twin, so I'm going along with them now.
Exactly,
So we're
because
now on the
if
Aphex Twin wave.
Okay,
if
so
this
this isn't
episode-
all Anthony's fault.
No. If this episode didn't have Alex on it, I was going to choose Aphex Twin as a classic because Superman reveal, Aphex Twin, bitch. But anyways, I'm sorry, that was so bad. But it's okay. That was so bad. Okay.
You should acknowledged it, bro. Like you should.
I know I
Keep
Yeah,
trucking forward.
Do you want to show me your like riddled wish list now, or what?
No, I bought an Aphex Twin shirt and I was like, let's talk about it on the classic, right? Because it was just gonna be me and Vaughn, but then Alex came on, so yeah, it just so happened. So yeah, we probably would have done Faust, but then Alex was like, oh, but actually maybe we could do this album, Selected Ambient Works, not 2, 85 to 92.
8592. Yes.
Don't get it twisted. Alex is actually going to open it up because he picked it. So Alex, why is this album a classic?
It sounds like you picked it, but
I didn't pick
I
it.
feel like it's just like,
I said we can do that one, but I didn't pick it.
well, according to these guys, I don't know what
well, I would
the
like to see
definition of classic is.
the scripts, the transcripts.
Because
But-
2MG isn't a classic. I'm sorry, it isn't. I love
Okay, but the
Noskov,
other two
that's not a
were.
classic.
The other two were.
I had never heard of the Steve Hyatt. That was just me being
That's on
ignorant.
you. That's on you.
Exactly. That was
It's
just me
a
being
well-known album.
ignorant. Yeah.
It's a cult classic.
Alex, why is this a classic?
I feel like it's just very interesting for the time it was made, especially at the age in which he made it, and just the iconography of the whole thing. Just that Aphex Twin shit that Anthony's wearing, like, has been around the whole world and back. I've been seeing it before I started listening to music,
Yep.
and I feel like that symbol on its own says a lot more than I can even say about it. But we can continue on. I just feel like the whole atmosphere is very unique in that way. It feels like ambient, but in a kind of like industrial sort of like techno way. Not really industrial. Industrial would be more harsh.
There's
But
a
I feel like in a
couple
more
tracks,
beep beep
but-
boop boop, I'm a robot type
Yeah.
of way. And it's like it just has like a really nice bounce to it. That's what I love sometimes about this sort of dance genre. It just has a nice bounce to it. You can do whatever you want to it. Like
I don't know if
You
this is a
can be
hot
like-
take.
need some
But
red to it, and it was like
this
be
album
bouncy.
has one of the best bass sounds
Oh yeah.
of any album.
Oh, yeah.
There are tons of different bass sounds across the album, but every time just sounds beautiful, dude. It sounds so good, bro. It sounds crisp. Okay,
Yeah.
continue.
And I feel like just just how it sounds is really good. It's really lush. Like I'm really into like these other more pure ambient producers, you can call them,
Mm-hmm.
and it kind of grabs all these amazing elements and just adds the rhythm to it. And I'm like, oh shit, that's hella good.
Yup.
And you know, I'm gonna talk about the Grailed user song, Xtol, the first song.
Tall.
Yeah,
Well, also another one. The other
Crystal.
one is Pulse Width.
Crystal.
Pulse Width is really good. That
Pulse
one just sounds like
Pulse Width
Utopia.
is the
like,
other
that
is the
one's-
other
yeah.
fashion user song. So yeah.
Like I had a point where I was like, I kind of had the same opinion as you guys did for that Black Country New Road. It's like these songs are going on for too long. It's the same thing again, but that's bullshit. I disagree with that. Still, I believe that like it kind of puts you in a trance. It's just very,
hmm
it just makes you really focus. It's just very an enveloping sound,
Yeah.
and it just makes a lot of sense. It was just genius that he even came up with that to begin with. That's what I think is kind of a classic. It's just
I would like to say that even though it's a very enveloping, cohesive album, every song still has its unique identity, and it feels like every song is its own journey and its own world that you're stepping into. It has unique sounds,
Yeah.
unique drum sounds, and
yeah, and I
bass
still feel like that builds onto the
and
whole
it's
lore
still-
of
yeah,
the
it
Aphex
just
Twin
builds to the
world.
lore.
You know,
it's not like you're listening to
Yeah.
a new song. It's like a new.
it's just
facet
a
of the
different
album.
chapter in the same story.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like yeah,
It's
like
so
that.
good, and I just want to share my personal connection to Crystal, the opening song, which is pronounced Crystal because it's like
Pronounced
X and
Crystal.
Xmas. It's like Christmas. It's Crystal. I saw that on YouTube comment
Oh.
once, and it just stuck with me because that makes sense. And
I never knew that.
Crystal is maybe. I mean, it's a close competition up there, but it might be my favorite song of all time. It's just like, oh,
Okay.
bro, it just sounds so good, bro. Like everything's
It's a beast.
perfect, bro.
It's a beast of a song.
There's-
Yeah.
There's the
Those vocal
bass, the
chops,
pounding like
too.
house bass, and then it switches to like the fucking the beat break, and then it's like the angelic singing and the bass sound and like the melody is so gorgeous, bro. It's enveloping and beautiful. It's just a perfect song,
Works,
and
yeah.
it's one of those songs where when I first heard it, I didn't know it was one of my favorite songs, but I knew that I hadn't heard anything like this before. And that just continued throughout the entire album. The next song, Va, 9 minutes, and it's just so like, it's like creepy. It's kind of creepy, and then you get into Pulse Width and Aegis Polis, which is like, those are like fun ass dance songs, bro. Like even though it's like it has the ambient vibe, obviously, but it's not an ambient album, man. It's a dance album. I mean, you know, there are songs that you can't really dance to, but like those songs are so fun, and Green Calcs and like like We Are the Music Makers, like everything has its unique like thing about it, like an amazing melody and a really cool sound, and like Green Calcs has like the fucking industrial, like it sounds like you're in a machine or like in a factory or something, and Shock You
Yeah.
Seventh Path sounds like you're traveling in like the woods at night, and it's like a creepy like forest, and then We Are the Music Makers is just like a fucking, it's just a banger, bro. And it's just like everything has its vibe, and Crystal sounds like you're going to heaven, and that's why it's the best song of all time.
And Actium
this
is
one of my
like
favorite albums as
fucking.
well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Actium is like scuba diving. That's a scuba diving.
That's
that last
a good
track.
one. Yeah,
That's scuba diving.
yeah.
That's
I don't
swimming
know.
with starfish and shit. Like that's
Just
crazy.
everything is just so perfect on this album, man. And it is like I used to think like, okay, this goes on too long, like just a little bit, but like just the more I listen to the second half, like and songs like Telemi and Delphium that I kind of slept on, I just realized like there's just nothing even like everything about these songs is just like amazing. Like like you can't knock anything. It's just like and like if you go to those songs without listening to the rest of the album, like you can go to any song on this album outside of the context and it's still like incredible. And there's just so much cool sounds going on. Like I don't know, bro. This is an all timer.
Very just creative. Yeah,
It's an
just
all-time
hella
album.
creative.
Domer.
Anthony, do you hate it?
No. I'm just patiently waiting
He
because
doesn't hate it.
I want to talk about this because I'm a very big Aphex Twin fan. All right, and I think this was an album that once again made me realize got to stop repressing my love for electronic music because for the longest time I'd only listen to a couple tracks here and there with electronic stuff. You know what I'm saying? But this made me realize there's a little bit more going here. There's a little bit more going here. And also for the longest time, I don't know why. Well, you should think I care because You Do was the best Aphex. And while I still think it's his second best, this is obviously just his best. He came out the gates. Came out the gates.
Swinging.
Swinging. No misses. He was a swing, and he hit a home run.
Bada boom.
You're right, Crystal. Sounds like you're going to heaven. But for me, what this album feels like, and what I think of a lot with this album is when I close my eyes and I listen to it late at night, I think of buildings. I imagine these like very industrial, almost like brutalist buildings on the outside. But then as you walk in, it's white marbled, and it's a museum of the future. Ideas, prototypes, whatever you may have. That's what I see when I listen to this album, and that's what I feel like. Because for the most part, a lot of these sounds are kind of warehousey in a sense. That a lot of the bass in general is very. It almost like contrasts the album sounds, right? Because the bass is just hard hitting. But then we have the sounds like on Crystal when I don't even know if it's like a lady singing, but to me it always sounded like a
Yeah,
lady
it is.
singing.
Da,
Yeah,
da.
it is, right? And so then we have those beautiful sounds with that hard hitting bass. Like it was very much almost, I hate to say it, but it works because of the cover. It's like yin and yang,
Yeah,
and I love that.
yeah,
I love
Okay.
that about this album. And what's funny
yeah.
is I've subconsciously known about Aphex Twin for the longest time, practically since I was 8, because the song, I don't even know how you say it, but I've always just said Ageopolis because I don't care to pronounce the I in there. It's like Aegispolis. How do you say Aegispolis?
I've
Age,
in my head I
Aegispolis?
always said it as Aegis
I
Polis.
Aegis
Aegispolis?
Polis. I
I
don't
have
think
Okay.
it's
no idea
Aegis.
though.
It's
I have
like
no idea.
Yeah.
Aegis has like a shield, right? Or is it AE? Fuck.
Well, I know.
Maybe
Yeah, I know the Pokemon Aegis Slash.
Aegislash. Yeah.
Yeah,
Also,
that's another thing from my childhood.
fun
But
Aphex Twin trivia because I'm good because I like researching stuff about this guy because he's such a unique person, so mysterious. Guy who designed the logo, Paul Nicholson. So thank you. You made a very probably one of
shout
the
out,
most one of the most iconic logos in music history.
definitely.
Truly and honestly,
Yeah,
you see this thing
definitely.
everywhere,
At
and
least
it's an
outside of
immediate
rock,
indicator.
it might be like the
Exactly.
most iconic.
Exactly.
Thank
It
you
is-
for like ruining a whole generation of fashion Instagrammers who keep ripping off the fucking logo.
Yeah.
If you know, you
And
know.
that's the thing. This album is larger than music, larger than life. Because truly and honestly, so many descriptors could go with it. Like Alex has been saying it, and I saw this a lot. There was a very large span of time on TikTok where fucking fashion kids who were into archive fashion would use a crystal or they would use pulse width, and they would have it be their kind of, I don't even know how you'd say it, but the imagery to their fashion, right?
Yeah, it's like their
Per se.
theme song. It's like
Exactly,
I'm
the
walking
theme
around
song
in
of
my
fashion
fucking
kids. Yeah,
Maze and Margiela tabbies and shit. Yo, what's
exactly.
up, guys?
And it's
I'm a
just
lowball you on grilled.
I'm a lowball you on grilled. I love how much this album has just kind of like transcended what it is, and especially because of the fact that like Richard D. James as a person is just kind of a meme, but yet his music can still hold this like beauty to it. Because the thing is, it's funny enough, people do say this is his best, but there's also a large camp of people who say Richard D. James is his best, self-titled RDJ. I to this day, and I actually re-listened to it because of this project, because I listened to this project like 5 times just because I can just turn it on.
Yeah,
It's become a project at this point that I can just turn on and love.
yeah.
I don't see where Richard D. James trumps this. I
You
don't.
can, in my opinion, you can make an argument for any one of his albums,
Yeah,
except
and I
except
understand.
maybe Cyro, but it's still
Except
a great
maybe
album.
Sorrow is
It's
so
still a
like
great album.
texturally interesting.
It
I
is
feel like
very,
it might be
it's
like
very cool.
Yeah.
But
it's more of a mind massage than this.
I mean,
is, I'll
he's
be
one of
honest.
those artists that reinvents himself every time.
Every time, and it's great.
To me, Drux is also a masterpiece.
Drux, yep.
Sure.
I mean,
that album
honestly,
is unbelievable, but it's
honestly,
so
don't-
different.
That
It's
one's
like a
bad.
whole
Yeah.
different
Not bad, but,
universe.
like
Yeah.
good.
don't be surprised when you see me and Vaughn release like a tier list video. Like this is someone who we would want to talk about.
Maybe.
Yeah, because like I said, there's never been an album that has helped me picture things in my brain as clearly as this one. Oh, I forgot my fucking story about me as being 8 years old. The famous band from South Africa, or not even a band, like a rap group, The Antwoord, used Aegis Polis as a sample for one of their songs, and that was like one of my favorite songs ever growing up. So, but when you go and listen to the song, it's like literally they just like took the beat almost, and they added a couple extra spicy effects. Also, fun fact, he's in the music video for that song, so that's pretty cool. And they're wearing shirts, but whatever. So I've subconsciously known about this guy's music for quite some time, and so it's like it's always been cool because that's the thing about Aphex Twin that Alex was saying. He's always there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
People quote him as inspiration. He's just somehow always there in such a weird way.
Mhm.
I love.
He's also like, he's like the electronic artist that like rock fans are like. I don't really listen to. I just listen to rock, but Aphex Twin is cool. And
Aphex Twin,
that's
bitch,
just really
yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, he's like
that's
the
just really- he
electronic
has such
version
a-
of Tom McDonald, you know? It's like,
No.
I don't usually like this type of music, but I do like this
ruined that.
guy.
You just ruined it.
You
No,
just
but
ruined that.
His influence is so far beyond like what anyone probably could have expected, and it's just
Yeah.
really interesting. It's
And also
he
in
has
general,
such an
this
interesting
album
role. Yeah.
just still also has that like veil of like mysteriousness to it, because it I feel like some electronic artists are actually very personal when they make their music,
Yeah.
whereas and hear me out before you cut me off. I think it's like with his music, I couldn't identify one person with it unless I knew who he was, and then I saw pictures of it, because it holds its own. It has it's its own beast. You know what I'm saying? And I love that about it. Like there's just some sort of mysteriousness about it that makes you want to know, who is this guy that
Yeah.
just made this. And
Mm.
so that's why he has that cult status around him,
That.
because he likes
Yeah.
to stay far back a little bit. There's literally rumors that he's living in Russia with his wife. Like what? Like what? Like I don't even know that, whether that's true or not. I don't know. People are literally like, "Oh, I saw him in the subway the other day. He was just talking with me." Like, there's just all these random ass stories people have about him, and I love that. And this, like I said, this album is just larger than life, and it's really cool. I mean,
Very
that's
cool.
just a fucking good word to explain it. It's just really fucking
It's just cool, bro.
It's
Both
just cool as fuck.
in temperature as well
temperature.
as like it's just cool, you know. Like
It's
But
just
yeah.
cool.
Oh,
And we
no.
need to bring something up, the elephant in the room. And this is one of the things I wrote down on my notepad that I wanted to talk about, because it's always the elephant in the room with Aphex Twin. The 3-letter genre word. IDM. Intelligent
Oh, industrial.
dance
Oh.
music. Right? I've seen a lot more growing hatred for the term as of recent. People saying, like, if you use the term to describe the music, like, you're lame as fuck, like things like that. Like I've truly been seeing a lot of people really not like that term, and I'm not saying Aphex didn't like it from the get-go. He didn't like it, but I think it's interesting because for the longest time, hey man, what's this Aphex Twin music? Oh, that's intelligent dance music. That's IDM. Or if you want, it's like ambient techno, right? But like I feel like
I mean, this album
IDM.
is more ambient techno than anything. I
Yeah,
feel like.
I get it, but like the thing is, I just want to bring up the term IDM because it's like you look at the albums that fit in what is IDM, and you start to think like, why the fuck does this genre exist? Because what the fuck is IDM,
It's
right?
just slightly like off kilter, more
Not meant. It's house music, not meant for dancing. But the thing is,
it's
there are a
it's dance
fuck ton of
music
danceable tracks.
with more detail. I think is the main thing. But
I feel
like
like it's just
as the
I think it's more
genre
like
has evolved, and even from this starting point, I mean that's not necessarily true. It's
But
just not
wouldn't it
necessarily
Yeah,
true.
like
And it's
exactly.
it
less-
definitely certainly doesn't make the music more intelligent just because it's more
Exactly.
detailed and layered.
Exactly.
So
It's
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 obviously a
it's
stupid term, but
I wasn't thinking it was more of a like characteristic thing. It's like this or that, but I think it's more stylistic, as in like
Mhm.
it sounds like this, it feels like this. I
I
think that
suppose,
might be
but
where the
when
term
you
comes
look
from,
at
right?
I don't think
IDM,
that's where it comes from though. So I mean, I like IDM, like it sounds cool saying it. I'm not gonna lie.
yeah.
Like, I don't like. We can keep the genre name. Like I don't really care. Everyone knows it sucks.
It was
But like,
supposedly the term was coined when musicians, like electronic musicians, like wanted to develop dance music, not meant for the clubs and more
yeah,
so
meant for
home
listening
listening.
at home. That's like the tagline for the genre.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, and when you say it there, it doesn't sound as bad, but it's just when you throw in
no,
the term,
that
oh,
sounds very reasonable. It's just throwing in the
intelligent
word
dance
intelligent
music.
and implying that music in clubs is dumb.
Yeah.
That's the
Uh,
flaw.
When
Yeah.
I thought about intelligent, I thought it was more like a robot made this. It's like automated intelligence.
See,
and
that
then
makes sense.
That's a
people
nicer
especially
way of
with,
looking
like,
at
and
it.
I made it.
With like the titans of the genre like Alltecker, where literally
Or Boards
their
of
music
Canada, yeah.
well no
Mm.
not Boards of Canada, specifically Alltecker, their music is made like by machines, like basically like they program a fucking machine to do their shit. Like their live shows are like randomly generated music, and that it makes sense there. But like someone like Boards of Canada and Aphex Twin, also Boards of Canada are, I mean, like they're technically IDM. This is kind of a side rant, but like they're like
It's
instrumental
okay.
hip hop, bro. Like really listen to what they're making. They're just putting like drum breaks and then they have like IDM-esque synths, I guess, but they're not
Yeah.
even really. I don't know. That
Yeah.
like some artists classified in IDM just shouldn't be at all, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
like
but-
for example, like I don't know, it never really made sense to me. Sweet Trip, Velocity, Design, Comfort is considered
Okay.
an IDM album by some aspects.
not
I
a-
don't agree
it's
with
not-
that.
I agree with it in some aspects. It
Oh,
totally
no.
has IDM drums.
I feel like
It's,
the
I,
whole like,
some
I
points.
suppose, but I don't
I'm
know.
not really into the whole like genre debacle because just like oh, I'm
It's
gonna
true,
put
but
it-
it's an interesting talking point.
I'm gonna
about
like put
album
this
that
in a
gets brought
label
up.
like you know like
No,
I
of
get what
course
you were
not.
talking about. I get where you're getting at, but like I think in general like, the whole like conversation
Yeah.
like this is
It's
bad,
just
this
the
is
idea.
bad,
It's
like,
just the
I don't
idea.
like that whole like
Yeah.
debacle or even like argument.
It's the idea
about any
of
album.
Yeah, it's the idea for me that like should IDM as a term continue to be used? Because when you look at
Yeah.
it, I can't like other than the giants, no other music is really getting labeled as IDM as much
There's
anymore.
kind of no reason to anymore.
I say we ditch genres.
There's kind of
Exactly.
because most IDM releases fall into something else already anyway. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like this falls
This
into
is ambient techno.
Exactly.
I mean,
this-
really the only exception for me would be like Autechre and artists like them, but it's like that. There's like a couple artists like
I think it's just like an outdated term. Like
it is, and it was just an interesting talking point I wanted to bring up because it's talked about with this album. Because it's like, oh, these are people use this as an example, like, oh, here are the core tenets of what makes an IDM album because, supposedly out of the woodwork, this album invented the genre name, whatnot. I don't know, who cares, right? That's just the lore of the genre, right? So it's just interesting to me, and I just wanted to bring it up.
Okay.
But enough with the side tangent. Back to the actual music, right?
music.
Music.
I don't know.
We are the music makers.
Mm.
Mhm.
That's another thing I love about this album. The sampling on it, right? Like,
oh yeah.
Is it
Aphex
pop?
Twin, he's one of the best at sampling. Truly and honestly, I think honestly,
I don't know if
sampling
I could say that. I don't
Really?
know about that. Yeah, because
It's just tracks
a lot of
from
his
the-
tracks
I was gonna
don't
say
even
he's
have
good.
sampling,
I think he's good.
and
That's fair,
they're
but when he
used in
does,
such
Think
a
of
subtle way
most
that it's
most
like,
of where he shines isn't in the sampling.
yeah,
That's
that's
fair.
just
It's
that's
just for
just not
me-
where he shines. Like,
I didn't say that's where he shines.
I feel like
but
I appreciate the sampling and like to add ambiance with like the talking and stuff, and like
Yeah.
we are the music makers, but
Willy Wonka.
I don't know.
No, but well, there's certain
It's not one of
tracks
the best
later on.
samplers ever.
There's tracks later on in his career, like Alberto Balsam, where like he sampled
That
like
It's
him shutting
insane.
an ammo box. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? And that's really cool. And it's just it's
Okay,
the
you
idea
might
that
have a
like
point with that. You might have a point with that. I kind of forgot about that song.
thank you.
And-
Still a good sample.
Yeah, it's a great sample.
Because that sample
yeah.
makes the song. I mean,
For me, like sampling is just so fucking powerful in electronic music. You look at albums like Replica, and it's like, what the fuck, you know what I'm saying? And so it's just like it's when I listen to his music and I notice those samples, it's like it really makes me appreciate the art of sampling a lot more because for the longest time I never really liked when artists would make projects completely full of samples. But this was like before I got into music and before like I knew what plunderphonics was and I realized how much you could do with it. But it was an album like this that made me realize no, this shit can add a lot. Like
it's
it can-
ironic though because there's the whole controversy of Aphex Twin not fucking with Blame Game.
Blame Game.
Oh
Um,
yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Kanye
yeah.
sampled it, and the thing is, it's a pretty blatant sample. Like it's kind of fucking absurd.
It's just that you didn't like credit
just
it.
go.
I think that's the main
You're
issue,
stupid.
right?
You're stupid.
What do you mean? What the fuck do you mean?
If you can sample a little bit of something, you can sample all of it. It's all or nothing, bro.
I
That's
I
the-
just don't.
I mean, it just doesn't make sense any other way.
I suppose, but like,
Yeah.
And
it's
it's
just.
just still a completely different song. Here's
I would
my
be okay with
philosophy,
it. I would
like-
be okay with it if he credited, but he didn't, and that's why it's an
Yeah,
issue.
it didn't. So
Because
I don't give a fuck.
Because then it's just Kanye just presenting this to me as like, here is my work. I did this. I made
Bro,
this.
it's like 5 notes on the piano, bro. Like, I don't care.
But I still
One.
think like motifs and
Two.
shit can still be like you know.
Two, it's a completely different song. And here's my
Copyrighted.
philosophy on sampling. if you can listen to the both, like if you can, okay,
We got a sample head over here.
it's a. Hold up. Give me a second. You should only be legally at fault if your song can act as a direct replacement to the song you sampled. Like, if you can listen to, if Blame Game was like a cover, or like it used it for most of the song and then he rapped for like 20 seconds at the end, like, that's one thing, that's an argument. But it's a completely different song, it's a completely different genre. And
Thanks
he
to
loops
Chris Rock.
like 4 seconds of the song. Like, it doesn't, like, that's not a,
For me, it's just
like, you should be
I'm
able to
just
do
curious,
that.
I'm just
Why
curious why
wouldn't you?
someone like Kanye West couldn't reach out to Aphex Twin and be like, "Hey, can I use your song?" Or like,
Well,
just
I don't know
go-
the whole story
I
behind
just
it, but it
like
seems
the-
like
It was like a
it was
settlement.
more with his label and like legal issues than him actually contacting Aphex Twin.
But yeah, I
Okay.
think it's kind of just like I don't really agree with Vaughn here because I feel like that kind of makes way for larger artists to just, like steal the melodies of smaller artists
Well-
and they can get away with it, right? And they can like
You
just
can't
yeah.
steal a melody. That's my
But
argument.
that
Like,
is a melody though.
You can't-
It is. You say it's just 5 notes. That's still a melody. Yeah, that's still a
melodies, bro.
motif.
You
This has
like,
happened all the time. Like this,
people think of melodies all the time that are the same as someone else's melody, even if they never heard the song. Like, it's like melodies are, there's a finite number of notes and there's a
Yeah, of
finite number of
course.
melodies you can come up
But
with. And
Stuff like that is definitely blatant, yeah. And if you were to draw from that source, then it would be the
No.
ethical thing to actually credit the artist that you're taking that motif
Yeah,
from.
exactly. It would never be an issue if the artist was credited.
I don't
But
give a
as we
fuck.
know, not every artist gets credited. Well, Vaughn, personally, I want to look after the little guy sometimes. You know what I'm saying?
Aphex Twin is not the little guy.
Okay,
wanna
but
sample you,
compared to
Vaughn. I wanna
Kanye
blow up off
fucking
your
West,
music.
And
but compared to
also,
Kanye West,
it's a
he's
little
kind of the
melody.
little guy.
It's a little melody. So, okay, morally, if Kanye found someone on SoundCloud with like 2 followers and took their loop, that's a different question. That's a different conversation. But he stole a song from Aphex Twin, one of the most prolific and popular electronic artists of all time. Like,
I know,
do we
but we
really
have to
give
be
a fuck?
consistent,
Like, who
right?
gives a
We have
fuck?
to. I think we have to be like consistent, and we can't let that.
I
be
know.
precedent,
I
you
think
know?
it is consistent to
We can't
allow-
let the precedent be set. You know, we can't be like
It's
this is
not a-
okay.
no,
we
'cause
can't
it's
just
a
let this
different
one thing
precedent.
slide
It's
because everything else is gonna slide.
He's not stealing from the little guy. He's stealing from Aphex Twin. It's
He's
two
stealing from
different
someone who's
situations.
smaller.
You're
though.
right. You're right. But like Alex said, it's the precedent. It's
Okay,
what
but
are we setting?
Who's bigger
Yeah.
than Kanye West? Like, then like his pool of samples is nothing.
I mean,
And
if he
so- and
sampled
I think
like
every artist should be able to sample, especially an artist whose career was built off sampling.
yeah,
Oh yeah, you can definitely be allowed to sample, but I'm saying do it ethically. You know,
Yeah,
like
ethically,
I'm
yeah.
saying, like you should pay the people that you're sampling, especially if you have the
Plus,
resources.
blame game is kind of like whatever. So it's
If you
Nah,
have the
Blame Game is
resources-
fire. I don't care.
Yeah, if you
But
have the
that's
resources
just a whole different
to
conversation.
credit your samples, and
that's what I
credit your
said.
samples.
yeah, just credit the sample.
Like
I
if you
agree.
have it, then you should do
Look,
it.
I agree, but I don't think it should be like you're legally liable to get sued if you don't.
Yeah, you're right, but it's just Kanye never gave peep of like, hey, I sampled this one time. Like we have yet to, like he's
Also,
never come out and said that.
This doesn't really apply to this conversation, but I think there should be much looser copyright laws on music in general. I think if your song is like 20 years old, it should be free to use, honestly. If it's like 20 years old, maybe there's an
Yeah.
argument for like 30 or
And-
40 or 50 years old, but
Yeah,
the Beatles music should be like public use already, bro. Like I
Yeah.
don't care.
yeah, no, and I do understand where you're coming from, Vaughn. Like we are both big fans of electronic music, where every day it's just sampling. You know, we look
It
at
just,
house
yeah,
music.
it just seems like it would be
Not
a
fucking
much
music.
more creative field of music that
Yeah.
if there were less strict laws.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, there are always shady people in music, and there's just sometimes we need to
And,
set
yeah,
a standard
I,
so that not
Yeah.
everyone is just getting ripped off, and it's not just this back and forth, right? Like, yeah, I understand where you're coming from, but there needs to be a line,
I
right?
don't know. The industry's already pretty shady, so it's like
Yeah.
I don't
But-
like.
Like
the
I'm all for
record
like
labels
the
are already
freedom.
scamming you even more than anyone could do by sampling your song.
You're
That is
right.
true,
You're
yeah.
right.
But
No.
I feel like people should be free to express themselves however they want. But if you're gonna be making money off another person's art by like manipulating it or changing it even a bit, like if I were to like, I don't know, do a few scribbles on the Mona Lisa, maybe I'd have to give my homages to, you know, Mr. Van
Okay,
Gogh.
well,
You know,
Yeah, I see what you mean. Like you should get credit. I don't think you should get money. That's my opinion. That's
I feel like royalties can be important because it's your
Royalties
art
can be
too. So you have your control over your art, so you can be like,
it's not
okay,
your
it'll
own,
be
it's
for this
not your
much.
art once you release it in the world.
That doesn't make sense.
Not
does.
really, because you have the rights to your own work.
No,
in
because
the
Yeah.
legal
people
world,
interpret it
you
in
know?
different ways anyway. So it's already different in everyone else's mind.
That's fair. That's fair. Look,
Okay.
I understand where you're coming from.
I'm saying,
But
bro,
You're
they were talking about-
very
I'm
hard set on this
calling
topic.
for
Yeah.
music anarchy.
We have had this argument several times before,
There-
and
okay.
you've always been the same. You're unflinching about it, and I understand where you're
unflinching.
coming from.
But I'm not an expert, so I'm just one guy.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I might be wrong. You can prove me wrong. No one has proved me wrong yet. I'm just saying.
We got a sample head over here.
I'm just gonna
saying,
sample
bro.
all
Nobody
Vaughn's
has
works
persuaded
and just,
me
like,
yet.
call them my own.
I'm releasing Smiles and Vibes 2, where every couple
Well, that
seconds I
goes
add in a
against your
clap.
morals, though, Alex, because you're not crediting me, bro.
No, you're fine with it
Like,
though.
you can
it doesn't
no,
go
you
against my
can sample-
morals because it goes against my morals because other people are
Okay,
being harmed. But
I
if you're
will-
okay
I'll
with
make
it,
a
I'm gonna do
correction.
it.
I'll make a correction. You should credit the name of the person you sample.
Mhm.
You should credit.
Okay.
the song. That's,
Yeah, I think
that's
you should
okay.
credit.
There you
but,
go.
Like,
Correction.
I don't know. I'm still thinking like you should have control of your art and your masters and
And what's-
how you want your art to be perceived too. That's important.
It's funny,
Because if Tom
actually.
McDonald like releases my song, like samples my song, and you can tell it's my song, and he's rapping about how much he hates like fucking social justice and like minority rights and
Okay.
shit. Like I'm not gonna want that to happen, you know.
That's an
So I want
interesting
control
argument.
over my own art. I
that
need
is-
to clear it.
That is interesting, and I think that is probably the only positive from legal issues in music, to take down music that just is like morally wrong in general.
Yeah, just things that you don't want representing your name,
So,
because
I
your name's gonna be
understand that.
attached to that.
I understand that.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a
What-
very, very complex issue.
Like, what if Tom McDonald sampled Smiles and Vibes and he just like started rapping about how much he hated fucking poor people
Well, I
and
don't,
how
I
much
don't know, man.
snowflakes there
I
are?
don't know, man. Well, I don't really have the money to sue them anyway, and that's
And what-
another thing. Like if we make it a legal issue, like, are the small artists who are really going to be hurt by this even can afford like suing the artist and trying to fight for their rights?
Well, if they have
That's why
proper
they're so
grounds,
strict,
then
and
they
that's why
win
they're
the
so
money, right? Yeah, they win the money
Yeah.
and the legal fees and shit after
Exactly.
that all
yeah,
happens.
that's
You
why
have
they're
solid
so
enough
Well, if they
grounds.
don't win, they're in debt though. That's it doesn't work. Like
I'm
that.
not a lawyer here. We're not.
Sometimes you gotta swing.
isn't-
Sometimes
It
you gotta
doesn't
swing.
work like that, bro. It doesn't work
Yeah.
like that. Bro.
No, and
This
what's
is a
funny is
chair
there,
podcast, not the armchair lawyer podcast. All right.
and there is a group of people that actually don't believe in the idea of like we need to say where we got our samples. We need to credit our samples. For example,
That's
one of
that's
the
a big
biggest
thing in hip hop
one of-
culture.
eh,
Is
one- I was
not
about to say
sample snitching.
one of the biggest
Yeah,
is
yeah.
sample snitching.
I
Gangstar.
kind of disagree
literally,
with that. I kind of
literally on Moment of Truth, there's a section where Guru is just talking about these record labels are sample snitching, and that's
as
harmful
much
to
as
hip hop.
well, record labels can stay the fuck away from everything. So
Yeah, that's
in that
true.
sense,
Yeah.
thumbs up. But like,
And the issue
as far
with
as sample snitching, like
is
if
just-
you're sampling in an artful way and you're doing it in a creative way, like Gangstar, like it shouldn't matter where you got your samples. Like why
You're right.
why do you care? Like
You're
if
right.
people know, because
I can agree with
even
that,
then
yeah.
it's just more impressive, if anything. Like I don't really get it, but I don't know. There might be a solid argument.
No, you're right.
Like, yeah, I don't really agree with sample snitching because you are harming someone else by doing that. And that makes things a lot more two-sided because originally it was just like, oh, you're taking my art and you're gonna like flip it how you want. But now I'm thinking like, okay, you found out that you flipped someone else's art how they wanted to, and then after they're gonna take their shit down, and you're not gonna have the freedoms to like present the music how you want it.
I think we are all not super qualified to talk about.
No, it's true. It's just once
Honestly.
again, that's what we love.
The
what
more we
love
get
doing
into
this
it,
podcast.
because yeah, there's a lot of stuff. I think it's a very interesting debate, but I'm not that knowledgeable on the legal history or anything.
You're just a stubborn-headed
Yeah, I just have my
Ish.
opinions, you know, like
Yeah.
that's how it is. But
And that's okay. But we've
I'm
gone on far
open-minded,
too
though.
long. We've gone on far too long.
Oh shit!
far
All
too
right.
long.
We
Far too long.
need to wrap it up. And so therefore, I need to hear the top threes. Unless you all have
Oh
something else.
yeah, I forgot about that.
We didn't talk about the top threes yet.
Forgot about that.
Alex, I want to hear your top three.
I think we're going. I learned this today. Crystal. That's the name. That's what it's called. Crystal.
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 I didn't even get to talk about like certain songs, but it's okay.
It's fine.
Actium. I think
gotta talk
Actium. I think Actium can go second, and we can
Actium
go
is great. Yeah.
Hero Span third. That shit's
Heat.
hard as hell. Be amazing track.
My
Love
top
Aphex.
3. Check it. Number 1, Helios fan. And this was upon like recent listen too. I was just like, ooh, he was cooking on this track. He had all the heat on that one. I
Yeah.
love how like and that's the thing about Aphex that I didn't even get to talk about. He has such a way with like the rhythms. The shit just sounds like scattered. It almost sounds like a centipede is walking almost. Like it sounds so interesting to me. So yeah, but I love that track
massage.
simply for that. Yeah,
It's brain
it
massage
feels like a little
music.
brain wriggle, you know.
Yeah.
Next track, Aegis Polis, just simply because of the childhood memories. And my third favorite, it's a tie between Crystal and Thaw. Because honestly, those two songs to me almost feel like a companion piece. And I know it doesn't make any sense to me, but if I'm gonna listen to Crystal, I gotta listen to Thaw back to back. That's just me. That's just how I am.
That is
So I
just
put them.
you. That is just you.
Yeah. Okay, go fuck yourself. I always put them next to each other. I always put them next to each other.
No, it's solid though. You
Yeah.
play it. You play like that. Yeah.
Exactly. Either way, I end up playing the whole album anyways. But still, Vaughn,
Exactly.
your top.
Crystal, number 1 on this album and all time, maybe. I don't know.
No.
It's at least top 5 of all time, like at the very least. Okay, Aegis Polis, another one of my favorite songs ever. I mean, it's just so catchy, man, and it bumps. And for third, it's pretty difficult, but I think I'm gonna go. We Are the Music Makers.
We are the
Infectious
music
makers.
bass line.
When it comes back in, it goes. I
Yeah.
don't know. I was fucking it up a little bit, but you know what I'm saying.
going
Yeah,
over.
Yeah,
Yeah.
silly.
I love it. But, ladies and gentlemen, and theys, I don't know
Okay,
what
come
is.
on.
Oh
have we
my
figured out-
god.
You-
You
you-
ruined it. You
You just
ruined it.
Have we
ruined
figured
the
out what the
whole
word is?
episode,
You're
man.
ruining it. Just say people. Just say people.
Ladies and gentlemen, and people.
No, just people in
Anthony-
general. Say.
Anthony
What's up,
is
people?
what
But-
is wrong with everything in the world right now.
I like to be a
Aw.
showman. I like to be a showman, and a famous showman term is ladies and gentlemen.
Then just leave it at that, man.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen,
That's going in
Because
the
all-
cringe comp.
it's
Yeah.
you okay. You did not just say that.
We got a chair, guys. Like Phil.
Now we got to roll it back. You did not just say that. Ladies and gentlemen, we thank you so much for watching the Cherry Guys podcast. A bit of a longer episode today, but that's always exciting, am I right?
Nope.
We want to We want to give a big shout out to none other than Todd Edwards.
NordVPN.
Todd Edwards.
Oh no, we're not sponsored by
sponsor for this
NordVPN.
video.
But NordVPN, if you want to sponsor us, we're more than happy to. We will do a little sponsor for you.
Shout out Todd Edwards.
Shout out Todd Edwards.
Shout out
I'm
Todd
back.
Edwards.
I'm in my room. Unfortunately, there's no posters up, but maybe in the next episode, you guys will see something nicer. Who knows? I don't know. Who knows?
I got like a fucking
Fantastic
monkey.
track list on this
Todd,
compilation.
The God. Oh
CD.
no, there's a fantastic track list on this one right here. You feel me? Like, let's look at these classics. Bought it
Wow.
from Discogs. I don't even know where it came from. Probably Germany.
I have the best album of all time here, actually.
Well, that's not Todd Edwards, so
It's
Todd
milky.
Edwards would love this. He would say it's better.
No.
we are not shouting it out.
No.
We are not shouting it out.
No.
Shouts out Mid Earth Thieves.
I love that album, but we're not shouting it out. We're shouting out Todd Edwards. Todd
Shouts
Edwards.
out Todd Edwards too, of course. Definitely.
Thank you so much for watching the Cherry Guys podcast. I have been Anthony, or Spiked, alongside my co-host.
Ars Vaughn.
As you always know, he's famous. And thank you to our special guest, as always special, Alex.
Oh, you want? Yeah, what's up?
Alex.
Thank you.
Alex.
Thank you.
But that's it. That's all the time we have for this episode. Vaughn has a date with Saul Goodman that he needs to get to, so we're gonna wrap it up. I've been teasing him about it
Alright.
all day. He's gonna get annoyed. But
He's on the edge right
we will see y'all later. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.
now.
Bye.